watched many producers try to explain and manufacture feel, but I'm convinced that over-intellectualizing it is futile. It is something divine that only the universe can create, like a heartbeat or a star. A solitary design within every musician that is only their own. I liken feel to the cadence of poetry, sometimes comforting, other times unsettling, but always a gift from one soul to another. A romance between the giver and receiver that serves as the punctuation of one's truth. To me, the test of a great drummer comes from this short 5-second exercise. Close your eyes, hit play, and if you can name them in that time, then they have achieved their sound. That I equate to greatness, no matter how proficient. A sonic signature. Their drummer DNA, their fingerprint. And there is no better example of this than the grace and fury that Bonham captured on Led Zeppelin's 8 studio and 4 live albums, recordings that changed the course of drumming history forever. From the seductive swing of Since I've Been Loving You and I'm Gonna Crawl, to the charging funk of Trampled Underfoot and the Wanton Song, to the hypnotic pulse of Kashmir and In the Light, Bonham's sound is entirely his own, showing a range of emotion and dynamic that not only dwarfs every drummer who has ever lived, but also reveals a deep sense of empathy for the listener. This is heart and soul laid bare for all to hear, a resounding series of confessions from a man who didn't need a microphone or pen to describe himself, just a drum kit and 2 sticks, which he would sometimes forego using only his bare hands. With every seismic kick and snare, he was transcribing a sort of melodic EKG, giving us a glimpse into what made him tick, his DNA. In so doing, he was offering the listeners a chance to open themselves up to their own raw emotions, lust, fury, pain. That's where the empathy came in. I believe that the connection between a musician's heart and hands can serve as a direct window into his soul. And if that window is opened, their true voice can be revealed. Over the years, I have discovered that one can learn more about a person with instruments on than off, finding an intimacy and intuition that could be attributed only to uninhibited musical communication, something Zeppelin clearly had an abundance of. It's rare, but when found, it can eclipse most other connections in life. A language learned by ear. Fortunately, the world has witness to this every time Jimmy Page, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, and John Bonham played a song together. Volumes have been dedicated to Bonham's power and precision, but to be honest, I have never been one for technical introspection. Never mind how a part was played. I would rather know why. What drives a musician to do what they do the way that they do it? Could it be every day that led to that moment? Every word they ever said? Every person they ever loved? Feeling they ever felt? Chad Kushins' Beast is a deep and entertaining dive into the life of John Bonham, one that walks with him up to and through his days with Led Zeppelin. To hear Beast is to add another dimension to John Bonham, shedding further light on what inspired him to play those iconic beats, and serves as a worthy companion piece to his recorded work, which is the greatest story of all. And as we continue on our ongoing quest to translate his language, to decode the magic of his feel, let's allow his music to serve as the celebration of the man behind the myth, the greatest drummer of all time. After all, there can be only one. It has been 34 years since that night in Amsterdam when I received my first tattoo. And every time I look in the mirror, I am reminded of its meaning. Over time, tattoos inevitably fade as the ink begins to blur and bleed. The shallow puncture of a needle can brand only so deep. It's the heart that is marked forever, and we can all thank John Bonham for that. So let's begin. We've done 4 already, but now we're steady, and then they went 1, 2, 3, 4. Dave Grohl, 2021.
Prologue. A final radiant hour. Sunday, July 17, 1977. The Kingdome, Seattle, Washington, 10:20 p.m.